Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, it's Matchbox March, episode 8. I thought we'd get straight into it by talking about some interesting issues around. We've got half tracks here. It's a story about half tracks. Well, I'm going to start with half tracks and then I'm going to get into some of the, going to move on into the orange range, some really nice AMOUR orange range kit. But first of all, we'll start with the American M16 half track. So if you indulge me, here we've got a 1983 boxing. So this is the one that does not have the window on the back, but it does have some very nice artwork explaining you don't need to use paints, and the fact that obviously it's another impressive bit of artwork. It's actually FW-190's airstrike ground attack against this half track and his colleagues. I'm suspecting this is sort of, it actually says March 1940. Oh, it's at the Remagen Bridge. Oh, I didn't know that. I've never noticed that before. This is at the Remagen Bridge, it says. Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, the US 5th Division armoured half tracks fight off FW-190s as they race for the Rhine crossing at the Remagen Bridge in March 1945. So yeah, so what's that? That's yeah, that's 80 years ago, isn't it? Literally 80 years ago. Amazing. Now it's Calamity Jane, very nice kit indeed, this one. And of course I have got my completed version of it. Would I let you down? Of course not. So let's have a look at the completed version so you know what you're going to get. Now this one I made, again, I didn't go to town on it because I like to leave the Matchbox looking still like a Matchbox. I don't treat it like I've got to do the absolute nth degree of finishing and painting and weathering, because I always felt that kind of takes away from the way that we used to build them. And I like to have this little bit of, not toyness, but just a little bit of amateurishness, deliberate amateurishness, not just my incompetence. Have a look at this, see what you think. So here we have our half track, and it's on this wonderful diorama. It's crossing a railway line between two cuttings, and the railway line, of course, the line has been severed, as you can see. Just move that out of the way. The line's been severed with a shell hole, which has actually buckled the line, so there's not many trains on here for a while. And again, I could have done a lot more weathering around this cutting especially. But it's a really nice diorama, one of the better ones I think this is. Onto which we've got our Calamity Jane. And we've got our M16 half track with its 450 cal anti-aircraft guns. You know, don't mess with me. So of course the idea here, this is the cutting that leads to the Remagen Bridge. Something I've never actually appreciated before, so that's the idea. This leads to the Ludendorff Bridge. How about that? Isn't that cool? So there we go. The other thing that lets this down a little bit, I've got to say, it has the it's got the man who's operating the anti-aircraft gun. The only problem he's got is that he's been abandoned by the driver. There's no driver. So I don't know why they didn't do a driver figure. That was kind of strange, really, I thought. But other than that, I have to say it's pretty much 9.5 to 10 out of 10. Whoa, he says, catching it. Look at that. How about that? I should play for the England cricket team. Caught that without any damage. Just fumbled it slightly. But yeah, it's just strange. It's almost a 10 out of 10 though. It's such a nice concept. A really, really nice kit, that is. Nice kit. You know, what's not to like about it, really? Pop that over there. I'll give you a very, very quick look at this kit. Obviously it comes with tracks. It's one of the later boxes. This is under the Universal models. It doesn't have the purple, which it should have, and it says, I'll zoom you back for this. By the way, would you mind awfully if I had a drink? It's evening now, so I'm on the Pinot Grigio tonight from Marks and Spencer's. I'm slumming it. Cheers. Oh, I don't know though, it's quite nice. It's been quite a pleasant warm day here today, so I thought we'd enjoy a little bit of a cool glass of wine. So it says here, I don't know what it says, I can't read it, it's that small. And they went to this ultra small writing. Would you bear with me a moment while I just put my other glasses on? Here we go. The M16 half-track was first developed in 1942 as a mobile anti-aircraft platform using the standard M3 half-track chassis. This weapon was used with stunning effect to protect armour and infantry units against attacks by the Luftwaffe. I mean, 450 cals, you know, that's almost the armament of a fighter, isn't it? Something like a Corsair, think about it. Did that have 6? Anyway, it's a lot. 450 cal machine guns were mounted on a Maxon turret with the familiar ammunition canister fixed to the sides. Like a rotary drum in like an arch shape, wasn't it? Despite Allied air superiority toward the closing stages of the war, the Luftwaffe fought bravely, and desperately because they didn't have many left, against key targets such as the Ludendorff Bridge at Remagen during the Rhine crossing, where M16 half-tracks really proved their worth. A total of 724 of these M16s were produced between 1942 and 43. Excellent. So we'll zoom in on the old instructions and I'll show you the basic way it's assembled, as you've just seen the finished product. And we have got, you're building up the sort of differential there with the wheels and tyres being put on as well. And then you build up all of your road wheels and your tracks, which hopefully don't snap in your hands. We've got a winch at the front there, number 11 is a winch. Installing your, obviously it's a front engine vehicle, so you're installing the transaxle. Then you're going to put in all the sides and you build up the cab area, and then you've got your actual anti-aircraft gun turret. And then ultimately you bring all this together. It's just a shame they didn't have a driver figure. I don't understand why they didn't do that. It seems a bit odd. They've got an anti-aircraft gunner, but he's all on his own, you know. Over to you, mate. It's like the driver's run and hid under a tank or something. And you've got some jerry cans and other things that are going in there, and spare ammunition. And then again we get this very tiny instruction of how you place it on the diorama, which I thought was always very odd. Other than that, we have our small parts guide, painting guide there, and a general paint guide for the rest of it. And in the back we have our decaling instructions. Here are the decals, speaking of which, and I've just gotten very nervous because I've just noticed that we have got some silverized, and we know that these silverized ones are the ones that, that just came. I think we won't do any more of that. I'll just hold it like this, okay? We'll just hold it like that, because we know that the silverized ones, which are all this late edition of these kits from about so Leslie went bust in 82, taking down Matchbox, unfortunately, and it was after 82, 83 that they started to do this, and this is when these silverized tracks, which do not last well, 40 years later, here we are, 43 years, what was it, 42 to be exact, 42 years. They snap very, very easily. They become very work hardened. I think it's the pigment that's in the silver. Anyway, here we have our railway cutting, and we've got the main sides, a lot of the body parts, and the rear wall of the crew compartment of the actual half track. You've got your front wing fenders there, very nicely done. I enjoyed this kit. It's got the, you see there, it's got the main chassis itself with all the transaxles built into it, suspension, shock absorbers. Over here you've got your, where my thumb is there, the spare ammunition canisters for the anti-aircraft gun. And then over on the other sprue we've got our wonderful looking railway line, absolutely fantastic, the railway line, with the blown, severed rail. And then you've got all your wheels and tyres, you've got your anti-aircraft gun and man here, and then you've got your guns, the anti-aircraft guns themselves, all here on the extreme bottom left. And your winch here, and then you've got your main half-track road wheels running gear there. It's a really nice kit, it's an excellent kit, one of the better ones I thought they did. So I'm just going to zoom back out and I'm going to change back to my normal glasses so I can actually see you. There we go, higher. So it's a really nice one. Yeah, I think that's just a shame that they went for this in these later iterations. They went for this metallised tracks, which have a habit of going horribly wrong. And if you haven't seen my 10,000 subscriber party video, you may not know what I'm talking about, because the other one to watch is the original version, which is the Honey Stewart review I did, the Honey Stewart Matchbox tank, where yeah, they just snap and they keep on snapping in my hands. It's almost like they're trying to turn to powder. Anyway, digressing. Let's zoom in now and talk about Hanomags, the German half tracks. And here they are. Now then, here we have a bit of an issue here. So here we have the original and best iteration of this kit, which was, I think, 76, was it? Yes, 76, 75. No, I'm right the first time. 76, with a window box. It's got this lovely street scene, although that's a little bit at odds with the artwork on the front, which is North Africa. Yeah, basically, and it has all this sort of German National Socialist propaganda on the wall, which we won't talk about. But you get two options: as the Africa Corps, or there is the motorised infantry. The Eastern Front in Moscow in the summer of '41, so quite why it seems to be on the streets of Germany clearly here, I don't know. But anyway, the important thing about this is art, and how there's this revisionism went on. So this is the original artwork. There's a Hawker Hurricane 2C here with its cannons. She's strafing this German column. You've got the German anti-aircraft guy at the back using his machine gun to try and take down I think he's using an MG34, to try and take down the Hurricane. There is some, again, propaganda flag on the front, and you've got the Africa Corps markings here and here. And then we have the later iteration of the same kit, where all that is removed, and frankly the whole thing is ruined. We don't have any action anymore. That's been painted out. Roy Huxley, one of his masterpieces that artwork is, and they made him paint it all out. The Africa Corps symbol, if you look very carefully, even that has changed with a big blank bit in the middle here. The symbol has gone, and just a kind of a whitewashing of history, really, which we all hate, I think. Anybody that loves history, you know, if you enjoy history, you've got to embrace the bad and the good. You can't pretend things didn't happen. That's what happens here. And even the decal changed with the language on it. Now it basically says, "Brother, the war is lost." Before it said something about what was it? Vitravin? Something about Hitler. In fact, I've actually got the wall here. Look, here it is. Brother, yeah. It basically says that the fight is over, the war is lost. Even though it's an advert for getting in the shelter and where the air raid. It's actually for the. It's actually an advert for the flak tower, the Fern Citadel. No, not the Fern Citadel. The flak term. But they even changed. They even modified. That stayed the same, but the writing on the wall changed to be the one you've just seen. Well, the original one said basically Hitler is the heart of darkness, or words to that effect. How did it word it? De Führer, Schwarzen Vertraven de Führer. Something about the Hitler equals darkness. It's some graffiti, and they've even got rid of that and replaced it with "Brother, the war is over." It's all a bit, you know, watering down what's going on. One thing that is quite good though is they do give you this profile view of the two versions, which is quite cool. But this is one of the classic examples, perhaps the worst example, of this anodizing and, you know, whitewashing of history and trying to, you know, revise history. It's really horrible. Anyway, as this one's half open, we'll have a look at this version. Into which we have our street. Now, I have to say, I'm actually missing my street, so I'm going to just zoom you in and sort of combine the bit I've got and the bit I haven't got. So here you go. Here's the street, the roadway, and it's supposed to go there, like that. So that's what the ultimate, ignore the colour of this obviously, but that's the ultimate look of it, you know, of the diorama. Onto which your Hanomag sits like that. This is not my finest work, which is why I'm not majoring on it, if you know what I mean. We've got our soldier jumping down. Whoops! You see, this is what happens. Never work with children, animals or figures. This is the soldier leaping down from the Hanomag, which I think you get the picture. There we go. That's if you got the finished version. Hopefully a better version than mine. Anyway, here we got, zooming back, so here we've got the rest of it. We've got all the, there is the soldier that was just jumping down, there he is, with his rifle. You've got the gunner here, all your wheels and road wheels are there. Front tyres, steering wheels here. And you've got your main chassis floor there. Over on the other sprue you've got the wall, which we've just seen, which, as you know, basically looks like this. Have they actually reversed that? No. So this is your wall, what it kind of looks like with the decals on it. And then you've got your main chassis with all the axle sticking out of it here, and your main sort of hull and bonnet area, and your rear doors here. And then you've got the sort of running boards and mud guards, and all the other small parts, you know, the front, the radiator cover and all that kind of thing. And that is your half track, really. What does it say here? Let's have a little read of what the read up is. This slightly whitewashed bit of history. Let's hope they don't whitewash the discussion as well. During 1926, preliminary trials were held for the development of an artillery tractor with excellent performance both on road and open country. The resulting half-track configuration was carried on the basis of the most successful range of infantry vehicles that became the classic partner for the tanks of the Panzer divisions. The SDK FZ 251 range shown here was the standard vehicle used by the armoured infantry units of the Wehrmacht. Seating up to 12 men, it carried 2 MG34 machine guns, or MG42s, and 2 submachine guns. Its excellent ballistic shape and mobility earned the new role of close support for the renamed Panzer Grenadiers. By the summer of 1942, all Panzer divisions were equipped with these armoured infantry divisions, and the SDKF Z251 and its many variants, such as mortar carriers, tractors, ambulances, radio cars, etc., became so adaptable it was used for many, many other roles as well. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? So, now this is where Matchbox changed to a vertical format. And you can see here we've got the decals in here. Let's see what you think of this. So you can see you've got the graffiti, the poster on the graffiti that goes on the wall. Brother, the war is over. It basically says, you know, it's a bit of pacifism creeping in here, if you ask me. Bloody pacifists. Anyway, then you've got this vertical portrait version of the instructions, which is a change. I wonder if that's the same in the original version. I've got to tell you that the original version is 1976. Yeah, 76. I'm going to check this. I'm not sure it's the same. Let's have a little look. Oh, look at this. Look at this. The original one is purple. Purple. And it's not vertical, you can see. So there has been a change. That's the original version in the normal style we're used to, in this portrait style. Sorry, not portrait, landscape I should say. Putting all your road wheels and then building at your front axle, putting your tracks on, etc, etc. Building your lower hull, putting it all together, and then the upper hull, complete with the crew compartment. Putting on your back doors and your running boards and your track guards, and then ultimately bringing all the stowage boxes, machine guns, etc. together, front bumpers, lights, and your street scene, of course. Street scene. And there's an option, it seems to say there, on the decals. So that is the original version. The later version is this portrait format going down. Same content, but just portrait, you know. I think I prefer the original, actually. The portrait kind of makes sense in some respects, because we do read down, don't we? Anyway, there we go. And then there's a small parts guide. Anyway, we don't want to mix up these two. So you'll bear with me just for a moment and indulge me while I just make sure. Ah, yes, now you can see why. Okay, I think we can see why this is a little bit controversial, because it has it's an advert for the Waffen SS, which I think was probably considered to be a bit beyond the pale. Can you see that? I'm not going to take the cover off because it might be offensive anyway. But yeah, you get the idea. So there's some justification, perhaps in this case, but there's no justification for changing the artwork. I don't think. I think that's a little bit. That's changing the way the vehicle actually appeared. So you can see it's a very sensitive area, this, isn't it? I know that our friends in Germany, like Gunter and Yokel and people like that, they've told me consistently that they were not allowed to see any of this kind of stuff. So maybe they felt that they needed to change it for international markets. But I know that the Germans have got these strict laws. Don't entirely agree with them. I think they're a little bit naive by the governments, not the people, but by the governments and political correctness. You know, not happy with that. Anyway, we won't get into debating that any further, but it just gives you a taster for how the kits have evolved over time, doesn't it, really? So that's those shown to you. I'm now going to expand into the orange range. So you've seen the Hanomags, slightly controversial kits there, especially that one at the front. Let's now have a look at something a little bit more expensive. You're going to need a little bit more pocket money to buy them. I have here a carton from the Lost Ark of the Covenant of Matchbox kits, into which we have some real nice goodies. Look at this carton. What have we got in here then? We have got Morris. We've got the Morris C8 with the Mark II 17-pounder gun and the Willis Jeep. That's a gun tractor, Willis Jeep and a gun. We've got a scout car with Montgomery's caravan, which we're going to definitely look at in a second. And then we've actually got multiples here. So there's actually 3 kits actually, but there's multiples of them. And then we've got the half track that's used in North Africa, the 7.5 centimetre Pack 40 cannon, the BMW motorcyclist. And again, there's 3 of those. So let's just pick them out. And I'll try to pick you out. I'll pick you that one. It's not the nicest original. I've got 2 originals here. This is the original version, 65p. Check that out. But we'll open the later iteration. Have they messed about with any of this as well? I bet they have. I'll bet they have. Yes! We've got another example of this. Right, let's show you this. Another example of this revisionism. Let me show you what it is. I'm not sure I need to sort of say too much about it actually. Look at the wall and the eagle symbol on the wall. What do you see? Yeah. Now that's the original issue from 1977. And then once this is when we moved to Revell ownership. So this is year 86, now owned by Revell. And it's gone. Well, actually, is it owned by Revell? It is, yeah. It even says Revell AG on it. Let's have a look. There you are. There's the proof. Where's our symbol gone under the eagle? It's vanished. It's become a blank circle. That's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Let's have a look then. As we're on this subject, why don't we have a look at the actual moulding of it? I think this is going to be quite interesting. It's the dark, isn't it? Let's have a look at what we've got. Is it the dark? No, it's not. It's that one. I want to see this. I want to see what we have here. Is it just a decal or is it something else? Sorry, I'm in your back. So here we've got the building, which is quite impressive actually. It's quite impressive. Do we have the... Yes, here we go. Let me show you this. Okay, just what I've just been talking about. Bit of revisionism. Now, this is the later version. Now look at the eagle underneath its feet. You can see that they've interfered with the tool to remove the symbol. And in the earlier version, pretty sure, the original version, that's going to be still there, I think. Let's have a look. Yes, okay. Here we go. Here's the original version from 1977. You see the difference, okay? So there's a bit of revisionism going on there, really, which is a bit unfortunate. I mean, I know we don't want to... Nobody who knows anything about history, you know, in any even brief detail, wants to glorify this regime. They don't. I don't, certainly. But I don't want it to be erased as though everybody's 5 years old and we don't want to tell you anything bad about the world, because that's what's going on here. It's a little bit childish, I think. Now, I understand Revell is a German company. Okay. They may feel legally obliged to have done that, in fairness to them, given that defence, yeah. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let's have a look at the kit now, anyway. So, I've got it out now. So you've seen that bit of it already. We've got some rubber band tracks which look okay, because they haven't been metallised. They're just black. Now, I always forget this. There's a nickname for this half track, isn't there? I always forget it. I've had this once before. I was at the model show. Somebody helped me out when I was struggling with this data. I've got a loose part here. It's the sidecar for the BMW motorcycle. Look at that sidecar, yeah? It's okay, it's not damaged, that's the way it comes. That's quite cool. So that's come off the sprue, off the middle of the sprue here where my thumb is. So we'll have a look at the plastic first, I think. Here you go, so here's your main sort of chassis and floor of the vehicle. It's got a bit of a twist in it, I've got to say. It's got a right warpage, can you see that? Zoom me back, look at the warp in this, it's unusual. Didn't see that in the other one. Yeah, that's not helpful. There's the motorcycle itself. That's quite cool. You've got windscreen, you've got your Pack 40 gun here. I think that's maybe a tad warped. This is not typical of a Matchbox kit, I've got to say. The other one wasn't warped. But anyway, yeah, it's all there, isn't it? There's your armour plate shielding around your gun, your bonnet, various smaller parts like the towing, the limbs that tow the arms that go out behind the gun. Then we've got our building. Hopefully there's been no more revision in this. Our building, which is a really nice one actually. And I think this might have been the one, was it Creative Time Wasting? Did he do this one? I think he may have. I think it was this one I was thinking of the other day. I think he's built it and he did a beautiful job of it. Because this just lends itself to going to town on the weathering. Look at the damage to the building, all the rendering gone, you know. And you've got your chassis here with all your axles on it. There's actually a tiny bit of flash, very unusual actually for Matchbox. Little tiny flash creeping in, can you see that? Just there, on that axle. Yeah, definitely. Not much though. It's pretty rare actually. And then the final sprue, you've got the roadway with all the you know, so you have your building, demolished building here, and you've got your roadway with all your tank tracks on it. You've got the tonneau cover, canvas cover for the roof, the half track, all of your wheels here and your tyres. Then you've got some soldiers. Here they are. Look at these soldiers. 2 rows of them. 6 soldiers. Plus you've got your driver and your co-driver. And you got all your wheels, etc. there. And then you've got your eagle symbol, slightly anodised eagle symbol. And then again a little tiny bit of flash on there, which is unusual. Yeah, I mean it's a really nice kit. This later iteration, I think I probably pulled the wrong one out here to show you this one. Might have been better getting the original out because I bet there's no flash on it. and it comes as intended. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, nice artwork on the back though. In showing this, despite the censorship that's gone on. You can see there what it will look like when it's on that diorama with a bit of weathering done. It's strange because they normally show it unpainted. That's the whole point, saying it doesn't need painting. All that doesn't need painting has been dropped, even though it is in multiple colours of plastic. So you can see Revell were obviously not impressed by the multiple colours, but they no longer use that tagline saying, you know, no paint necessary. It's all been dropped, and they're taking it all very seriously, apart from the historical elements of it, obviously. And then on the side you've got this artwork I'm not terribly impressed by, to be honest. And it's a Doug Post. It's not Roy Huxley this time, it's Doug Post. You see his signature at the bottom right there. A Doug Post artwork, not Roy's. And again, you know, the Africa Corps logo has been anaesthetised as well. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I'm sounding unimpressed. It's not that I'm unimpressed by the kit. It's a lovely kit. I've built this once. It's really good. It's just that this latter iteration of it, I don't like the way they do this. I do not care for the Revell revision of history. It's really annoying. We'll have a look at the... I don't know why that's so warped. We'll have a look at the instructions now. Let's see what it says. It does remind me of that scene in Family Guy. Some of you may have seen it, where Brian and Stewie go to Munich, and they're on the tour. I've been to Munich, by the way. I've been there, and they're on the tour bus, and they're being told the history, and then they skip between 1939 and 1945, and Stewie says, "What happened after 1939 between then and 45?" And he says, "Nothing happened. Everything was fine." And there's a little bit like that with Revell, do you know what I mean? And of course, you know, the viewers on this channel who are in Germany, there's plenty of you, you understand what I mean. This is crazy. It doesn't matter, you know, nobody holds the current generation of Germans to blame for what happened. Why are we erasing history? It's weird, you know, it's not normal. It's not a healthy thing, I don't think. But there we go. Here's the instructions. They should be in orange, but they're not. And it says basically the Leichter Zufkraftwagen was one of the standard German artillery tractors that was seen throughout the World War II, developed from a 1926 original design with excellent off-road capabilities. Okay, sorry, see me back. It became the main towing vehicle for the Panzerjäger tank hunting units to tow the 7.5cm Pak 40 anti-tank gun. This gun had been developed from the earlier 5cm Pak 38 to combat the ever thicker armour that was appearing on tanks. Fair enough, isn't it? A light, rugged and deadly accurate weapon. It was rapidly pressed into service on the Russian front when it went into production in late 1941. The BMW R75 motorcycle was the most widely used German bike and sidecar combination, and it had the load carrying capacity of a medium car and the capability for crossing most difficult terrain. Very good. I like that. And then we have got here some side profile shots of it all. Motorcycle, sidecar. I like the sidecar. I think that adds a little bit of an element of animation to it all somehow. But there's no actual rider included, is there? Is there? Oh yeah, there is a rider, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I'm wrong. There is a rider, because we saw that here. I'm just forgetting. There he is. One that's got his arm up. He's almost directing the gun, really. Just doesn't show it here, that's all. So yeah, there's a rider, and then yeah, they don't show him in the small parts painting guide either, which is why I didn't think there was one. Anyway. Oh! Then we've got some decals which are, oh yeah, just very basic number plates and things, really. And obviously, hang on a second, it might have Africa Corps markings though. This is going to interest me to see how they've done this. I think we need to investigate this. Bear with me one moment, because I'm going to need my ultra zoom. I've got my big glasses, but I also need my optivisors for this. Now this is important, bear with me a second. No, in a word, it does not have the Africa core symbol on it. It's like they've got rid of it. That's interesting. So in the other one, I presume it does. It will do. It will do in the other one, I'm sure of it. No, it just vanishes. They just drop the Africa core symbol. How very strange. That is a little bit disappointing. Anyway, there we go. We kind of expected that, I suppose, didn't we? But I want to know how it differentiates. Let's have a look at the other one. We need to know this, don't we? So that if you want one of these kits, you're going to go out and buy one from somewhere. You need to know what you're looking for, so I do need to look it up. Let's just see. It's got colour on it for starters, and it's in orange. That's a good sign, isn't it? What does theirs have on it? Does that have it as well or not? Are they the same? They're not the same, I don't think, are they? Yeah, okay. This is going to be really hard to show you. What we're looking at here is this tiny, tiny decal. This is the later Revell version. Let's see if I can get this on the camera. I don't know if I can. We're looking at these here. Can you see? That should be the Africa core symbol. And what they've done, they made it like a shadow. It's almost like a silhouette. Because they don't want to be controversial. And then I'm going to show you the original. So look at that. Here is the original version with the actual Africa core logo. Can you see the difference? Yeah. There is a difference, isn't there? Here's your Africa core logo. And here's your history erased version of it. Anyway, there we go. Well, we kind of expected that, let's be honest. Yes, you can even see it there, can't you? I'm not trying to make a big thing of this. It's just a little bit annoying that, yeah, you kind of wish that perhaps Revell had not been the ones that took them over, really. Anybody else but Revell. But it's not just, you know, this is not an anti-German comment I'm making. Airfix do this, it annoys me intensely. Airfix do it today, I don't know why they feel the need to. I know they will argue it so we can sell it to different markets, like Germany. I'm not sure Airfix is a big seller in Germany anyway, to be honest. So I don't really accept that argument. You know, at least they've got good tracks that won't snap in your hand. Hopefully. We can but hope. Right, okay. So there we have it. Anyway, so a quick look at the instructions. And I feel I'm doing a request here, because I know Cyber Leader Andy and one or two others were wanting me to talk about this issue. But anyway, here we go. Usual thing with the half track, doing all your road wheels, building up your basic sides of your the sides of the cab, putting in your front differential and axles here, putting on your tracks, and then you're building up all the detail and putting in the back wall, and then your seats go in and your soldiers and your roof, your canvas roof cover comes on, plus your bonnet and your radiator cover, doors, etc. Driver going in here, side access doors, and then you're building your gun, pack 38. So it's pack 40, isn't it? I beg your pardon. Pack 40, 75mm. So that's like similar to the gun that was in the Panther, isn't it? It's quite a powerful gun. It's yeah, takes no prisoners at all. Building that up, and then you get your limbs and your chassis part of it. And then you've got your motorcycle with your rider and the sidecar going in, and then you build your gun together here, and then you build up your street diorama, which is a really good one. It's got a lot of elements to it. It's probably one of the very best dioramas, really. But just nice if they'd left alone, you know, instead of airbrushing out the original history. But there we go. Anyway, I shall move on from that subject now. I think we're going to take a little look at the guys that are going to be the challengers. Field Marshal Montgomery. Let's have a look at his caravan. I think I'm going to have a look at. Yeah, this has got this nasty green pumped packaging from Revell, early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s, and it has this horrible sticker on it, which I don't like very much. Bear with me one moment, because we've got a little bit of packaging problem here. There we go. Let's put that there. Okay. So we've basically got a damaged box here. Take Monty out, make some room. That's it. Now here's a classic. Now this is important, this one, because, not least because, ICM, my friends at ICM in the Ukraine, are releasing their own version of this. Comes out in a few weeks. We'll actually see it in about 3 weeks' time. And here it is. So it's ignore the Scout car, but it's the Monty's Caravan, the Leyland Retriever. And this comes with a Scout car as well, and a beautiful diorama of a street scene, which I think is supposed to be in Belgium or Holland, like a square where there's been a war statue that's been hit, the street's been bombed or something, or shelled. And you get two versions of it. You got the North African version in 1942, or the 1945 version. Same vehicle, I think, pretty much. I think it's literally the same vehicle, just been repainted for later use in the European campaign. But this is a nice kit, this is. Let's just have a proper shift at this. And no more controversies, I think, here. Unless you want to talk about Monty. And again, it's an orange range, but it doesn't come in orange. And we get the following. It says, when General Montgomery took over command of the 8th Army in August of 1942 in North Africa, he inherited several caravans for his own personal use. Several, okay, I was wrong. The Leyland Retriever, mounting an Italian-built caravan. So the caravan part is Italian, the actual living quarters. Remained with Monty throughout the rest of the war, but was originally built for General. One second, just bear with me one moment. Let's get this right. Built for General Annibale Bergonzelli, and was captured. So it's actually literally an Italian army caravan. Okay. It was captured by a flying column of the 7th Armoured Division at Bida Fob, south of Benghazi in Libya, 1941. How about that? It was taken to HQ Workshop Ordnance Depot in Egypt, where it was removed from the original Lancia 3RO chassis and remounted on a Leyland Retriever chassis. I didn't know this. The interior of the caravan was split into two, split into two compartments. Forward was a toilet and wash basin, which you can see on the forthcoming ICM kit. And in the rear were map lockers, collapsible map tables and a bed settee. Montgomery is reputed to have only given up this living caravan twice. Only given up living in this caravan twice. Once to King George VI and once to Winston Churchill. He must have really become attached to it. Monty's Leyland Caravan is on display at the Imperial War Museum in London. Well, it was actually at Duxford. I've been inside it. Well, I say inside it. I think you pop your head in. That's about all. The Damer 2 Scout car was the most widely used Scout car of World War II, and undoubtedly the Damer, being used on all British and Commonwealth forces, and was used in all theatres of the war. Their main employment was with tank and armoured regiments. Over 6,600 of these vehicles was produced by the end of World War II. How about that? That's incredible. Well, that was really interesting, and I learned something there I didn't actually know. Fantastic. So, we'll have a quick butcher's at the old instructions. We'll have a look at our... Well, we've got the flying rats. We've got quite a few interesting decals here. Let's have a look at these. Okay. So we've got the 21st Army Group and we've got the 1st Armoured Division. And we've got several, you've got all your like White Star Allied, the Joint Allied markings here. And then you've got the I think basically this is, am I right in saying that's the European ETO, and this is the North African markings. And then there's like a map, and then there's some street signs and things. Oh, sorry, this is the 8th Army here, so this is the African markings, which is cool. Right, that's that. And then we've got this sort of later style of instructions. So it starts off, quite complicated kit this. You're building up all your multiple differentials for the drive system. Then you're mounting that into the chassis here. Then you're going to have your front axles coming in here. Then you're going to build up your cab. Cab system being built up here. Then you have got the main, the actual caravan element of it with the sides and the little divisions going in there. There's no interior detail to speak of, I have to say, which is a bit of a shame, but anyway, there you go. It's just the sort of shell of it. Then you bring in your caravan and your cab down on top of the actual chassis here. Then you've got all your roller blinds, like on the outside of the sun blinds on the outside. You've got your little bits of detail here for things like the ladders, access ladders at the back, and you've got mirrors and your little fender bumper at the front. And then we've got, then it moves on to the scout car. You build the scout car up, building the cab of the scout car, and then you're building up the hull, a little bit like the Humber, isn't it? Very similar to the Humber, based on that, in fact. Putting your wheels in, building up all the mud guards, very reminiscent of the Humber armoured car. And then you've got the front stowage compartments, you've got the Bren gun on the top. And then last but not least, you've got this street scene with these figures and the roadblocks, and you've got your little oil drums and top of a crate acting as a table. Looks absolutely brilliant, that does. It's absolutely brilliant. Here we go. So Leyland Retriever, complete with the sunshade at the back. Scout car. What a lovely kit. Let's have a look at the plastic. See what we think of it. So, first of all, we've got the main caravan elements in this sort of, it's not Kermit green, it's like a darker green, makes a lot more sense really. And the roof here, that's pretty much all the main vehicle sort of side elements. And here's your scout car here. You've got your radiator there, radiator grille. That's really cool. Then you got your main front of the bulkhead there with the windscreen. And then you've got a grey sprue, because it's a 3-colour kit, don't forget this. Grey sprue with all your bits of your street on it. And then we've got the sort of tonneau cover here for the cab, the cab cover, tonneau cover here, the canvas cover. And then we've got various wheels for the scout car. And you got your main wheels and tyres. Actually, it's just a spare wheel there for the back. There's your main chassis wheels for your retriever. That's the spare, as I say, and that's the spare for the scout car. And then we've got all sorts of little bits and bobs, like bits of bumpers and things. And then finally, we've got this absolutely huge chunk of street, which looks absolutely magnificent, complete with this figure, like I think it was like an angel or something, statue that's broken and fallen down. You've got like rings here, like they're from, I don't know, it's almost like I don't know what it is actually. There's like hoops, almost like they're from a part of the like a sewage pipe or something like that. But you can see you've got tram tracks built into it, which is really nicely detailed. This, I mean, you could really make this pop, couldn't you? Look at that. You've got the grid here. This is a little bit like that Puma scene, actually. It's very detailed, really nice, actually. And then down here, again reminiscent of the ICM figure set, you've got what looks to me like Montgomery on the left. I think so. I think it's Montgomery here, and it looks like maybe Brooke, I think, and General Horrocks, I think. Or it could be Montgomery in the middle, it's kind of hard to tell. I think it might be Montgomery in the middle because he wasn't very tall, was he? I'm suspecting that's Montgomery in the centre. And then over here you've got all your differentials for the axles, drive system. You've got your leaf spring suspension here, steering wheel. And you've even got your, over here you've got your Bren gun, which is nice, isn't it? Or you've got your oil drums. It should be nice to get some focus from this camera, there we go. Oil drums there. And of course I mentioned there was a bit of like a crate on the other sprue. This is the crate that forms the table, and you put that on top of your oil drums basically. It's a really nice kit. I mean, you've got some really good detail. You've got your chassis, complete chassis for the Retriever there, full length ladder chassis, main bulkhead here for the back of the cab. There's a lot to this kit, a heck of a lot to this kit for not a lot of money, and this is what these Matchbox kits were absolutely king at, delivering value, no question. And we've just seen the other one that's got another great scene, the German one, the half track. Absolutely cracking, weren't they, really? It's just a shame it hasn't got a window box to show it all off. You know, it's so impressive. That is a beautiful set though. A very desirable kit if ever I saw one. And I know there's going to be a lot of people at the model shows, I can see it coming, that are going to have these built with really fine craftsmanship, and they'll do the new version from ICM in 35th scale to go with it. And it'll be like, you know, all they'll have to do with the ICM kit is they'll have to create they'll have a little more challenge creating the street scene because it won't have a diorama, of course. But isn't that nice, Monty's Caravan, complete with all these generals. Well, that was very, very impressive, I think. Now, finally, I'm going to have a look at this one, the Willis, another one that comes with a brilliant diorama. And I saw this done by the Crewe and District, one of my local model clubs. Crewe and District, I've got the gentleman's name, I should remember, shouldn't I, he's local. But the guy that leads that group, and he did this, and he added a couple of extra figures. He had an MP figure. Saw this last year at Nantwich, and he did it really well. Fantastic. Just brought the scene to life a bit, just having a few extra figures, you know. So it's your Morris C8 tractor unit, truck, and then you've got a Jeep, Willis Jeep, and you've got your 17-pounder tank busting gun as well. And here we've got it, not terribly helpful artwork on the side, but then on the back, and this is 1983, so this is under the Universal Products. So we can actually date this, can't we? It looks to me like Universal Products in Macau owned Matchbox's brand between 83 and 85. And I think from 86 onwards, I think Revell bought it there and thereabouts, give or take a year. So I'm thinking 83, 84, 85, probably 4 years under the Macau ownership. Is it a guy called Yip, I think, that owned it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you can see that this is definitely that era, because here in 83 we're back saying that it doesn't need, for younger modelers, no painting is necessary for younger modelers. And it sort of shows it as it did in that same Matchbox style, with this beautiful diorama of this building, heavily bombed and shelled, and look at it. And then on the side you get a little bit more helpful. So I don't know why they show that there, and then on this side they show it again. Rather strange that they replicated it, and now this time they show 17-pounder and your Willis Jeep. Okay, let's have a look. I think this will be the last one for today because I'm getting very tired. Don't know how long the video's been going on for. It must be up to an hour, surely. It's quite absorbing when you do this. Okay, there we go. So pop that over there. You can tell it's post Lesney because they don't do the colours anymore. And it says, I'm going to have my glasses again for this because it's absolutely minute, this writing is. I'm not sure even these are going to be enough. Oh, gosh. The Morris C8. The Morris C8 had been in service with the RA, Royal Artillery, for many years as a portee for £2 and £6 towing vehicle for £2 and £6 anti-tank guns before finally being converted to tow the new £17 anti-tank gun, as was fitted to the Sherman Firefly, of course. The cutaway bonnet was to house an AA gun, but was rarely used. Cutaway bonnet. Cutaway bonnet is an anti-aircraft gun. Okay, they've also got housing on the bonnet for it. Was rarely used due to British air superiority. The new £17 first entered service in March 1943 and was used in Tunisia, North Africa, with its 2,900 FPS, feet per second, muzzle velocity, and increased shell weight. So a real tank buster this, wasn't it? It was able to penetrate the frontal armour even of the newly arrived Tiger tanks sent to back up the German forces. That's when it first appeared in North Africa, the Tiger. Which was then the Royal Artillery 6-pounders, and they were unable to penetrate the Tiger. The 76.2 caliber gun fired a wide variety of shells, including high explosive, and was able to play a small part in the massive offensive barrages of 1944 to 45 in northwestern Europe. Possibly the best known military vehicle of World War II was the Willis Jeep, developed to meet the army requirements for a quarter-ton four-wheeled cross-country vehicle. The Willis MB became standard in 1941 with the first production run of 16,000. By the end of World War II, there was no theatre of war unknown to the Jeep, and its many roles, including tractor, ambulance, and many amphibious variants also. How about that? Amazing, amazing. Right, okay, so back to the number of glasses. Let's have a look at these decals. We'll go any further. And of course we've got the delicatessen sign for the shop, which is all blasted. That's very good. And as I say, this one that I saw from the Crew Model Club, they'd really done a nice job of this, I've got to say. I said to his face, I said, this is one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. And he was quite pleased. And it was certainly true. Now, instructions. I suspect we're going to get, we're going to have the sort of paint guide and decal guide here. And then I've got the paint guides for all the different parts, including even the Bren gun, which is cool. I've got Bren gun and a, what's that, is that a Piat? So is that an anti-tank? Anti-aircraft one. It's a Lewis gun, isn't it, I think? Lewis gun. For an anti-aircraft gun, I think. Excellent. And then the actual instructions themselves, we've got building up your main front and rear axles. Then you're building up your chassis with the leaf springs, the main sort of cab area in the back, stowage area. You've got your Bren gun here. Then you're building up the main front cab and the seating at the back. It's got seats for soldiers to sit in if they need to. Building that and mounting it onto the chassis. And you've got some actual cupboards. I think they're actually rifle storage boxes, cabinets, complete with your sort of canvas roof. All the seats going in here, plus the rifles you can see vertically stored. There's quite a few rifles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rifles. So it's intended to carry 6 men, isn't it, at least? And then you've got your radiator going on there. Stowage boxes on the side. And then you flip over here and you start working on the Jeep. Building up the chassis, and again you've got your leaf springs and the axles going in here. Putting in your spare wheel, etc. at the back. Putting in your windscreen, which looks like it might fold down, and you've got the option to have it folded if you wish. You've got the steering wheel going in and the canvas cover. And then over here we now move on to the 17-pounder Tiger busting gun. And you've got the axles and the limbs that tow it. Bringing that together here. And then finally, onto your diorama with this fantastic street scene with this very heavily damaged building. Big chunks missing out of it. And then placing your vehicles on like so. What an excellent set. Now, let's have a look at the plastic. Before we do, I'm sorry, I'm fading away. I need a drink. Well, it's that time of the day, isn't it? I can afford to have a little glass of the old Pinot. That's better. Right, so we've got some appropriately dark green, like an olive green sprue here. I'm sorry, it might merge into the background a bit because it's quite a similar shade. A lot of parts here, a lot of parts. You've got all your chassis parts and all the bonnets for the Jeep, and the main chassis rails. So you got your Jeep floor is like one complete piece here, whereas you're building up the chassis separately on the Morris tractor unit. Here you've got your gun armour plate protection at the front, the shield. Then we've got our very impressive, it has to be said, it's one of the nice ones. Another fine example of why these dioramas are so popular with modelers. And there's quite a few of you have come forward that are war gamers that seem to like these as well. So it's a real shame they don't. I think you can still get this via the Revell iteration. I think so. It's so nice in these colours, I have to say. You've got the chimney here, huge great chimney, isn't that nicely done? But you know, you put a bit of a wash on this and it'll look absolutely fantastic. And then we've got our various canvas covers here. Canvas cover for the Jeep hood, the Jeep weatherproof roof cover. And then you've got, this is where it gets super impressive now. You've got all the Enfield rifles. Look at those. And I think that's the one that's the Lewis gun. There's your Bren gun. That's really nice. Then you've got some lovely canvas effect here on the sides for the Morris vehicle, tractor vehicle. And then last but not least, a very impressive bit of street. Look at that. Hey, proper cobbled street, which again will pop beautifully with a wash on it. It's got all sorts of very clever depressions in it from where there's been explosions going off, shell damage. Looks absolutely brilliant, that does. And of course this houses all the limb towing arms, your wheels and tyres for both the Jeep and the Morris tractor unit. Over here you've got all your seats for the drivers. And then you've got your various main front wheels, steering wheels here, and your differentials and axles here. What a lovely kit though, that is a smashing kit, isn't it? I mean these for me were perhaps for value for money, probably the best for value for money. I think you got a lot out of it. And they were just different to other people's. Nobody was doing anything quite like this really. Absolutely brilliant. I love them, absolutely love them. So that's your Morris C8 Mark II tractor truck for pulling your 17-pounder gun and your Willis Jeep. And you've got some nice decals to go with it, and in good condition these as well. Very nice condition. What a fantastic set they are. So that's a very good intro, I think, to the Orange Range. So the next video, which should be number 9 I think, the next video is going to be all about Orange Range aircraft. So stay tuned for that, folks. I'll be back soon. I think that's covered all the main ones that we needed to see. Yes, it has. So yeah, Orange aircraft. I'll give you a little taste though. I won't let you go away hungry. I'll give you a little bit of a sample of what we're going to be seeing. So I think you'll like this. Should we get that in? To go in for some reason. Never easy, is it? Let me give you a little taster. So we've got a couple of things to show you coming soon. Look at this lot, a carton of Hunters, Mosquitoes, ME410, Bow Fighters. Really nice ones. And on top of that, I've got over here a box of, if I can reach, whoa, sorry. Yes, it's Donald Russell, finest Scottish butcher. Actually very good foods they do. Not only do they do some excellent butchery, they do some really good ready meals, and they do beautiful cakes and cheesecakes in particular. Fantastic. But we're more interested in what's in the box, which is lightnings. We'll talk about those. Another one that had some revised artwork for reasons not clear to anybody. But anyway, coming soon. Hope you thought that was interesting, folks. Just whetted your appetite a bit there. Thank you very much for watching. I do really appreciate your time if you watched it through to the end. Hope you found it interesting and feast for the eyes. And until next time, make sure you come back to see these. And until then, stay well, stay safe. Don't forget to give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Thanks very much for your time. And I will look forward to seeing you again in the very near future. Till then, look after yourselves. Cheers and bye for now.